Hello, myself Anuja. I am from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. I have done my master's in biotechnology. Later on, I did internship in hospitality management, and I am working with Association of Health and Wellness. I have two little daughters, and my passion is make healthy, eat healthy, and feed healthy. So there is a reason behind this. When I become a mother and started cooking for my children, then I realized then children wants more variety in the foods. So then I thought, why not we make a food healthy along with variety, so children get more nutrition, complete nutrition. So today with us, Mr. Jyoti Ranjan Sir, who is very senior, experienced in multi industries and welfare association. So I would request to you, sir, something about yourself before we start the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anuja, and great. It's a real delight to connect with you, and definitely we're going to talk about the nutrition, about the health. I'm Jyoti Ranjan Sahay. I'm from Pune, and I'm a HR and business management professional for the last over 32 years. Agriculture science graduate from BHU Varanasi. I have done my PG diploma in labor welfare from Indian Institute of Social Welfare and Business Management, Kolkata. For the first 12 years, I worked with the public sector. Next 12 years, I worked with the private sector. And for 8 years, I have been a consultant. And somewhere this passion was there, but the gateway was not getting a gateway up for contributing into the health and wellness. And we are lucky, we are blessed that today we are there in the fraternity, in the association, and we are in a position to help people with health and wellness solutions all over. So that's in brief about me. Thank you. And back to you.
Wow, sir, amazing. So, sir, can we start with the chat
Yes,
questions?
yes, please.
So, now we would like to know that which area of health and wellness are we going to discuss today, sir?
Since your passion is into kids, into children and their nutrition and their health and wellness, so it's the best thing is to discuss about something which is common for you as well as me. So we'll discuss about kids' health.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. So let's continue. Uh, See, I'll tell you about the problems. First, let's discuss about the problems as to what are the problems that we face today when it comes to kids' health or kids' nutrition. Even when we talk about the food. So one thing which is there with us is that we are not only focusing on nutrition or we are not only focusing on food. We have a complete basket, a holistic solution available with us, which takes care of every aspect of a child. So we'll discuss that in detail. But first, the problem statement: where do we stand as of today, and why this topic becomes important? So, if I have to say, the first thing is that I wouldn't say this to be actually a problem, but then this is a real life scenario as of today. Is that we have working parents. So both the husband and wife both are working, and that's something that's necessary, that's required from a career point of view, from a profession, from a passion point of view, and also for maintaining a lifestyle point of view. So this is a reality today, and majority, even if you go to the tier two, tier three, tier four cities, there also we'll find that both the husband and wife are working. So in our childhood, when we were kids, mothers were always at home. It was hardly, I mean, there would be doctors or nurses or teachers. These were the professions where we would normally find women working, but otherwise, most of the women were at home. They were homemakers. So taking care of children was something which was there, which was better off, I would say, when we were kids. Then second area which is a area of concern is that the nutrition in the raw food has come down. So as you were talking, that your passion is to prepare healthy food and variety. Uh, that's exactly the point. That yes, children and today children don't not only love variety, they also love the presentation. They also have a visual appeal, fascination that okay, the food should look good before they taste good. And
Yeah.
there's also a point of an environment, the majority of the times the kids are, you need to put on a particular video or a particular movie to feed the child, because the child would be comfortable that way. So there are multiple demands that have come up from the children point of view. And when we talk about the raw food, since our raw food is being chemically grown, the yield per hectare or the yield per acre, and I'm an agriculture science graduate, so I can visualize that, has gone up. So when it comes to nutrition, the nutritional content in the raw food has come down. Then there is a change in cooking style. So traditionally, the cooking was a slow flame process, and with the lid on. Now, with the paucity of time, we need faster cooking that's required. So there is a change in cooking style, and then there are multiple things which are used as ready-made. So if you look at spices, spices in our times used to be ground every day and then used for that day only. There was no leftover spice to be used next day. Today, the spices come in the packets. Now we have heat and serve packets. We have a fast food. We have a frozen stuff. All these things. So these have become reality. And then, so while in the agriculture farm, the yield has gone up and the nutritional content has come down, the way we are cooking is further reducing the nutritional content in the food. Then one more thing which has come up very prominent is that खाना जो है वो स्वास्थ्य के लिए कम है, अब वो स्वाद के लिए ज्यादा है. It should look, I mean, you should find that food tasty. So when we were kids, bitter gourd, that is karela, that was something that was definite during the seasons. It would definitely be made, whether you like it or not. You got to have it. Today it becomes very difficult to give the child that, and of course, we all know that bitter gourd has its own nutritional speciality. It has its own medicinal properties in it. Then there are a couple of behavioral issues that are cropping up, with the advancement of time. When we were kids, 20 years used to be called as a generation. Today, a generation is not even 5 years. It has even shrunk than less than 5 years. So, the styles, the values, all of these change, and what it expresses into is the behavioral style. One more thing which is a cause of concern that we see is that ADHD and learning disability kinds of things are on the rise. So we have experts who are taking care of that area as well, as when we suggest solutions. Beyond this, water is contaminated. No doubt, people are using filtration machinery, but still you cannot really take your, I mean, absolutely be pure when it comes to water. That is again one area of concern. And water being 70% of our body content. And of course, one thing which is beyond the control of people is air, the air pollution. So all of it are contributing to the problems that are faced by the children when it comes to their health, their nutrition. So that's about the problem statement, Anuja.
Yes, sir. As you said about ADHD, the reason why brain development and brain activity in the children does not happen properly is that their parents are not aware about it. And these children have not concentration properly, speak too much or not to speak at all. Yes, sir. Of course, health is so important for everyone. So we all should try to stay healthy and happy. So my next question is, what is the problem? Maybe it is related to our lifestyle, diet, or any other activity, sir.
See, if you look at the children, when you look at the overall, take a typical day of the children. Okay, so the time that they get up, the kind of activities they are into, what do they do, and especially as I remember you mentioning about the COVID times, the difficulty that you faced with your daughter, and post COVID also. So what has happened is that there are multiple things which have migrated into a different shape altogether. You know, physical activity or exercise. Okay, that is something that has taken a back seat when there is school. And again, children are not responsible for that. Parents alone are not responsible for that. It's a complete setup that we have to say. There are housing societies where housing complexes where people stay. They won't be having a play area at all, a designated play area. So definitely there is a obstruction that is there for the child's physical activity. When it came to the COVID times, we were all restricted within our homes. The shift happened from games to gaming. So even when there is no place to play, still you will find children playing cricket or football or something, or just running around in the common area. But even when that was restricted, and when it came to gaming, and then gaming became a very happening, proposition for people who were creating the gaming. So many varieties, so many different kinds of gamings that started coming in, and children are addicted to that. The addiction to electronics, the gadgets, that has also increased. Screen time has increased phenomenally. So all of these things are, while there is a possibility that the knowledge, the information bandwidth can increase, but then the health bandwidth is something which is compromised in this bit. One more thing that we are seeing now is that whatever we used to hear that, okay, some of the diseases or disorders, as we say, used to happen in the in 60 plus age, they're shifting back. So today, when we look at the teens, when we look at the kids, there are some of the complexities, health complexities that we see setting into the children. Obesity is very high. Eye problems are very high. So, and the list is big. The list is big. And one key point over here is that as a nation, we are a nation of youngsters. Our majority population is below 35, and out of that, the majority population is below the 20s. I mean, either in the teens or below that. So it is very important that we see to it that the children health is definitely something which is best, so as to ensure that we are responsible for our family, but collectively we are responsible for the nation. So how are our children is what is going to be, how will our nation be tomorrow? So looking from that angle as well. So these are the things which come to my mind.
Yes, sir. And I would like to share one of my experience also, sir.
Yes, please.
When my younger daughter born at the time of Corona, that time was very difficult for me, for all of us. After the lockdown, when my daughter went out of the house, the first thing that affected her was her diet, because it was a different world for her. Whenever I fed her, she always started crying and become irritable. His health was affected. So regular balanced diet is important for children in their regular growing up years. But no matter how hard we try, something is always missing. So it is necessary to take supplement to fulfill all these nutritions. And sir, whenever I see small kids, children, then fall ill very quickly. If we talk about my children also, so give healthy nutrition to children instead of outside fast food. But sometimes children not agree. We should try. So we should try to feeding how we are feeding and how much we are feeding, sir. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. And you mentioned about fast food. See, fast food is a reality. Okay, like it or not, healthy or not, it's a reality. And the fascination towards fast food is definitely on the rise. Now we need to have solutions for this, because fast foods are definitely which are coming with preservatives, which are coming with chemicals, which are not, which are not only unhealthy, they are in contradiction to our health. They actually affect our health badly. So we'll discuss about that. So moving ahead, I would like to talk about what next, how to see to it, and what are the things that parents, what are the things that adults should be attentive towards when it comes to children's health and wellness. Now, we are not only talking about health, we are talking about wellness as well. Now, if you look at a typical day of a child, which I mentioned earlier also, we as a community, we focus on 6 aspects, and these 6 aspects form in the word called shades, shades. So all our initiatives which are there, which are out of research, which have gone undergone a lot of research, and then this has been evolved, is that first S, that stands for sleep. Now the question is that we need to see what is the duration of our child's sleep. And second thing, when it comes to sleep, we also need to be attentive towards how deep is the child's sleep. Is it disturbed? Does the child see a lot of there are a lot many dreams that come in the child's sleep. So these are the things which we need to take care of, because to be healthy, sleep is a very important aspect. So we'll need to be attentive towards that. Second, that we need to be taking care of is H, that is hydration. Hydration as in the amount of water that people are taking, the children are taking. That needs to be optimal. They should be taking at least 2.5 to 3 liters of water in a day. That will be helpful. Then the third thing is A, the attitude. Now, when it comes to water, there's one more thing that we need to explain over here, is that when it is morning, the water can be taken as a full glass, absolutely fine, empty stomach. But during the day, water needs to be taken in sips. So you shouldn't be thirsty. As I mentioned earlier, our body is 70% water. So you shouldn't be thirsty to then you drink water. You should drink water even before you are thirsty. So what you do the whole day to keep hydrated is that you keep sipping. Now there will be a difficulty. When it comes to when the child is at home, you can still pay attention provided you are at home. And when the child is at school, then definitely it's the rules, the policies of the school, the way that happens. But keeping the child sensitized about this will be helpful, because the child will, once the child becomes attentive about something, then you really don't need to chase the child. So the question over here, when it comes to telling children, most of the times we come into a command mode. We come into an instruction mode. The better thing is to educate the child, let the child participate, let the child express her or his views, educate the child so that there is ownership. Once there is ownership, you really don't need to chase them. Of course, there will be distractions, but then still when the child is conscious that yes, this is something that I need to do for myself, then the child will definitely be attentive towards it. Then the third area is A, the attitude. Now, attitude aspect, if we see, is again, it's a very soft area. It's a very, it's not very simple to just say attitude and the attitude can change. Adults are unable to change their attitude, even after knowing that they need to carry a very optimal and a prospective attitude. So what happens? The environment plays the role. If there is a lot of quarrel, argument, shouting, things like that in the environment, that will be adopted by that, because the child does not do as you tell the child to do. The child will do as the child sees you doing. So whatever you are doing is what the child is learning. So it becomes very important for the parents and the elders in the house to see to it that there is an environment of positivity that is set in. Couple of things that we always, I would say that I have done is that, television wouldn't be screened with anything which is adverse, which is, negative, so that there is no negativity in the house. Okay. Instead of watching serials, we would watch some sporty YouTube videos or some action themes. Those things are there. If sports, those kind of things, they create a positive atmosphere. They create a positive attitude in people. Of course, when it comes to any of the seasons that we see in cricket or kabaddi or something, we get associated with a particular team, and the team performance is what becomes our expression, but still, it's still a sports. It's something which is definitely that's going to have a positive effect. Uh, you know, some pious recitations which are there, those things. So those play a very strong. They are very strong contributors to a child's attitude. When I was mentioning about sleep, what are you doing just before the sleep is what is going to dictate the quality of sleep. So if there is a practice of meditation or something very calming, holy that can be practiced before sleeping, that would be adopted by the child very easily. Then the next thing that we come to is D. D is diet. No, this is the bigger area, and Anuja, I know we have spoken a couple of things about diet. You have shared your experience. In the beginning only, you said that your passion is to make healthy, eat healthy. That's something. So when it comes to diet, of course, it's something which is a very sensitive area, and also it is becoming all the more difficult area for especially for mothers. Big salute to you, the way you are taking care of things. So when it comes to diet, we need to see that how nutritious the food plate is as much as possible. And of course, every family has their own style of food. They have own preferences of food. But at the same time, it is also important that how much of nutrition is there in the food. Today we are looking at, if we look at our nation, prominently our diet is occupied by carbohydrates, whereas our body needs more of protein as compared to carbohydrates. Okay. Um, it's not that the carbohydrates are not required, they are required. There are three macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. They're all required. But then, majority of us are protein deficient, and even the children are protein deficient, and that's where the problem starts. Our body, 70%, as I said, is composed of water. The next highest constitution of our body is protein. Every single cell is made of protein. And if the diet is protein deficient, definitely we will be having issues at the cellular level, from the cellular to the tissue level, from the tissue to the organ level, and from the organ to the whole body level. So this is where, when you mentioned that children falling sick very regularly, we talk about immunity. Yes, immunity is one of the reasons, but apart from that, overall health is something, because immunity comes from, if the protein content in the diet is less, then you are bound to have a deficient. I mean, the health of at the cellular level will be inadequate. So definitely your body strength, your immunity strength, everything will be something will be compromised. So having a good composition of food, and especially if the focus to be on the homemade food. I know it is difficult for mothers, difficult for anyone to cook food which is always liked by children. There are a couple of things that we can always try, and I know that you have been trying to create new dishes, new cuisines, which your daughters um, can happily have, is something that you are doing. There are a couple of things. I mean, you can go on the YouTube also. There are many, healthy food recipes that are there on for the children, and still you can infuse all the, because vegetables is the biggest compromise when it comes to children. They will never love vegetables. So how do you prepare things, good things out of from the vegetables? You can see them. We can also recommend a couple of things. Then the next part is that, as we discussed about the loss of nutrition in raw food, so definitely whatever you are making with nutrition deficient raw food, that will always be nutrition deficient. So what is the way out? The way out is supplementation. And you were mentioning you are taking care of your daughters, Anuja, with the supplementation. Yes, this is something that is becoming all the more necessary. And like it or not, this is a reality. I mean, you can someone can debate, someone can dispute, everything welcome. But the fact is that if the food, just one example about the loss of nutrition in raw food. When my grandfather was a child, one orange and the daily requirement of vitamin C is taken care of. Today, that daily requirement of vitamin C remains the same, but the nutritional content in orange has gone down. So if I have to eat oranges to fulfill my daily requirements of vitamin C, I'll have to have 10 oranges. Now that is economically not possible. If I start doing that, my stomach will is not going to accept. And when it comes to child, all the more complex. But when it comes to nutrition, the supplementations which are synthetic chemical free. As it is, we are having a lot of synthetic chemicals as preservatives, as taste makers, as flavors, everything. And there are lots of advertisements on the television. And all the advertisements are very, very attractive. The child would say, yes, I want to have this. Please see to it that if someone is claiming that it's coming with a new orange flavor or a new lemon flavor or something like that, please check, because that flavor is a synthetically mixed flavor, synthetically manufactured. That's not a natural flavor. So that is not something that's meant for, forget about child, at any age that is not meant for us. But that becomes so easy, that's very attractive. We tend to drift about on that side. But to be healthy, to make sure that we are healthy, is that we should have supplementation. We should give supplementation to children which are synthetic chemical free. No color, no tastemaker, no flavor, no preservatives. Absolutely natural. They are made, because most of the times what we miss, what we see is the finished product. What is it? A little of sensitization and alertness has come to see what is there in it, the contents. But what is more important is what is the source. From what is this made? Is it made from a natural source or is it made from a synthetic source? Is something that differentiates between the quality of health that that product is going to give. So we as a community, we have products which are 100% authentically organic. And being an agriculture science graduate, we didn't study organic farming as much. We didn't study as much. Today, when I have seen this, the way the farming is done, the authentic, what is an authentic organic farming, most of us have a misconception that you stop using fertilizers and chemicals and start using manure and compost, and it's organic. No, it is not. It takes at least 4 years of the soil to be left, the farm to be left uncultivated. Just keep tilling. At least 4 years. It can be more than that also. Okay, so that's a complex side of thing. But then that's where is the source. Our supplementation are also very palatable. Now imagine a situation when your child, I would really want to ask this from you, Anuja, is that whenever your daughter, if she is unwell and she has to be given medicine, how comfortable it is to give it to her?
Sir, if we talk about my children between 2 to 7 years, now they have started going to school, and they bring infection from outside. So immunity become weak, which comes quite challenging. So then I started, as you said about supplements. It started from the supplements, that is in this minerals, irons, all fill all the mineral iron fill the contains here.
Correct. I was talking about the medication. So I've seen this happening, and this has been there for a very long time, that whenever you have to give medicine to a child, that's a big struggle. Many a times you got to actually force it, because the child never likes to have medicine. Okay. The child is never willing to have medicine, but it is a compulsion, because the child is unwell. You have to give medicines, and medicines which are non-palatable. Okay, they can't have it. So when it comes to supplementation, again, supplementation to come in the most natural form, and palatable means it is easily taken. The child would love to have it. You don't need to force it. The child would love to have it. They are supplementation. They come in form of gummies without added sugar, without added any any synthetic chemical, as I mentioned earlier. So that again, more than that, what is important is what is the research behind to see that okay, what is the right nutrition that should come to you. And mentioning about iron, minerals, and vitamins, the research behind to see that what is the right proportion on a daily basis, because human body does not store good things,
Yeah.
but anything which is unhealthy, the human body is likely to store. So if you talk about fat, if you talk about anything which is adverse to health, can stay back in the body, but anything which is healthy would come on a daily basis, consume and finish. So if I have to say that, okay, many a times a vitamin D is given, which has to be had only once in a week, but it does not stay. Vitamin D you have to have daily. Okay, it should come from food, but since there is a loss of nutrition, so it should come from nutritional supplementation. But if it is coming from medicine, then there is a limitation because the medicines have side effects. So they cannot be. So I don't know how does one one tablet a week take care of the vitamin D requirements for the whole week. I don't know that. But when it comes to vitamins, minerals, the traces minerals, the amino acids, the omega-3 fatty acids, which are all required for our health. Those are the things which are not there in the food nowadays. And even if they're there, they're very little in content as compared to what is our requirement. Next comes the area of E, that is exercise. Uh, there's a lot of, you know, awareness about it. People are looking at it, especially the COVID has taught us a lot many things. If there is a good exercise regime in the morning that's being practiced at home and children are participating in it, wonderful. Nothing as good as that. But I also understand that, there are many schools, I mean, children have to go to school, parents have to go to work. So morning becomes, many a times it becomes very difficult. And so having an exercise regime in the evening, of course, there is some activity which happen at the school. But apart from that, ensuring that there is a daily at least 30 minutes of an exercise regime for children, and where parents, if they can be along with them, or if you can connect with a games teacher who can do that. So multiple ways to do, or else even if you acclimatize your child to spend 30 minutes in front of the TV also is not bad. Of course, TV is not a good thing. There is no argument about it. But at least that will still give the understanding in the child, the association for the child to do some activities. Physical activity is a must, which has significantly gone down. We see today a lot of obesity in children. When we were kids, someone who was obese, whom we never called obese those days, someone who was a bit fatty would always be called as a healthy child. He's a very healthy child. And we were the thin, skinny people. We were said we were unhealthy. We were called unhealthy. But later we have understood what is the obesity issues and what are the things when it comes to being healthy. The last one is stress. Um, yes, stress was something that we hardly knew when we were kids, but today kids have a lot of stress. They have a lot of stress, and this one thing that I was mentioning that has gone down after 60, comes to 50s, then 40s, then 30s, then 20s, then into teens, now into kids also. So stress relieving is something which is again a very complex area. It's not so easy and it's not understandable by majority. But one of the things that we can always do is to prevent the genesis of stress. How can that be taken care of? And that is something that parents will need to take care of individually at their home level. But a couple of things that we definitely recommend is, you know, practicing meditation is one of the things which is really helpful for de-stressing. Physical activity also takes care of de-stressing. Planning your day. is something which is very helpful. So if what is there required for tomorrow needn't be taken, needn't be looked at when you're going to sleep, because at that point, if you take a look at it, the first thing that you will take inside you is stress, and then that would be a stressful argument, and that stress, if you go to sleep, your sleep is very poor. So these are the six areas that we work along with parents: on the sleep, on the hydration, on the attitude, on the diet and nutrition, on the exercise, and stress management. So this is about the way forward. Anuja, back to you.
Wonderful, sir. You have shared very good and important information about shades and supplements. And it is important that we adopt all those things, our life, for our health. So thank you so much, sir, for giving us so much information. Life is a gift given by God. Try to spend this life well. Thank you, sir.
Yes, and before we wind up, I would share the contact details, because if anyone who is viewing this video and would want to know this, also and gain the knowledge in this, and also have solutions for their children, they can contact us. So all that you need to do is to Anuja, this is about you.
Yeah. This is mine, Anuja Narvaria. Anuja Narvaria. Anuja Manware 06025 @gmail.com. You can contact from here.
Or you can contact me. My name is Jyoti Ranjan Sahay. My WhatsApp number is 9820016250. Or you can drop an email to me on jr.sahay@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So
take care of yourself.
it's about the kids.
Take care of your
Yes.
kids. Thank you, sir.